At 3 a.m., rain hammered the animal shelter. From inside the locked back door came a slow, scraping claw.
Not again. Another stray. But that sound was different. Wrong.
Jennifer pushed open the back screen. A pregnant bobcat, soaked and bloody, dragged herself across the wet linoleum.
Oh God, no. She's barely alive. The belly, she's pregnant.
She dropped to her knees, reaching to check for breathing. Then her fingers froze mid-air. Something was tied to the bobcat's tail, a small, folded piece of paper, water-stained, bound with red string.
A note? In this storm? Who would do that? Easy, girl. I am not gonna hurt you. Let me just see what this is.
With trembling hands, she untied the wet string and unfolded the paper. A child's wobbly handwriting stared back. Jennifer's breath caught in her throat. She squinted at the smeared ink, her heart pounding against her ribs. Please help her. She helped me when I got lost. I am sorry, Lucas.
Lucas? The missing boy? That can't be.
She scrambled to the computer and pulled up the Amber Alert. The face of an 8-year-old boy stared back from the screen.
Lucas Bennett. Last seen 3 days ago at a campsite 40 miles north. Search called off. This is him.
Her hands shook as she grabbed the phone and dialed 921-1.
This is Jennifer at the county shelter. I have a possible lead on the missing boy, Lucas Bennett. Send a deputy now.
She gave the address, then turned back to the dying animal. The bobcat's eyes were fixed on her, pleading.
Hang on, girl. Help is coming for both of you.
The bobcat's breathing was ragged. Jennifer pressed a stethoscope to the swollen belly, listening for fetal heartbeats.
2 heartbeats. Maybe 3. Stay with me, Mama. You didn't come all this way to give up now.
Blue and red lights flashed across the wet pavement. Sheriff Bryant stepped out, a skeptical frown already forming. He pushed through the front door, rain dripping from his hat. The sight of the bobcat on the linoleum stopped him cold.
You called us out here for a wildcat. Dispatch said something about the Bennett boy.
She didn't just wander in. Look at this. A child tied it to her tail. A child named Lucas.
Bryant took the damped paper. His eyes moved across the smeared pencil strokes, and his jaw tightened.
Lucas Bennett, the 8-year-old who vanished from Pine Ridge Campground. That case went cold days ago.
Before he could speak again, the bobcat's body tensed. A low, guttural moan escaped her throat. Contractions had started.
She's in labor right now. I have to stay. But that note, Lucas is out there, and she led me to him.
All right, I'll gather a team. Follow this cat's trail back. You keep her alive. That boy might depend on it.
Bryant radioed for deputies and a K-9 unit. Behind him, the bobcat's shallow breaths quickened into ragged pants.
Wait, Sheriff. We GPS chip every animal we release. If she was handled before, we can trace her exact path back.
She logged into the tracking database. A red line pulsed across the satellite map, a 40-mile trail through the forest.
She started here, near Pine Ridge Campground. That's exactly where Lucas vanished. She crawled 40 miles, pregnant and bleeding.
That's a hell of a lead. We'll take 4-wheelers. Follow this track to the end. You are sure you can handle her alone?
I want to be out there looking. But if I leave her now, she and her kittens could die. I have to. She trusted me enough to come here. I won't let her down. Just find him, Sheriff. Please.
Bryant gave a short nod and strode out to the patrol car, headlights cutting through the thinning rain. Jennifer knelt back down beside the bobcat. A contraction hit, and the animal's legs paddled against the cold floor.
Okay, Mama. It's just you and me now. I've got fluids, oxygen, everything we need. You focus on those babies.
Outside, the rumble of engines faded into the dark forest. Inside, the only sounds were the bobcat's labored breaths and Jennifer's quiet, steady encouragement. Dawn bled gray through the trees. The search party pushed 4-wheelers through mud and fallen pine, headlamps cutting the mist.
GPS says she crossed this creek twice. Fan out and look for anything. Tracks, trash, a piece of clothing. The boy is out here.
AK-9 deputy froze at the stream's edge, his beam fixed on a small five-toed depression in the mud.
A kid's sneaker. No tread left. There's no way he survived out here alone this long, unless she helped him.
Back at the shelter, the Bobcat's contractions had weakened. She lay panting, too drained to push.
She's crashing. If I can't get her strength up, we lose them all.
She grabbed her cell and dialed the emergency vet hotline, her voice already tight.
Doctor, Meta, it's Jen at the shelter. I've got a wild bobcat in stalled labor, extreme dehydration, possible blood loss. I need guidance.
She put the phone on speaker and followed the vet's instructions. Subcutaneous fluids, glucose paste, gentle abdominal massage.
Come on, girl. Drink this. Your babies need you, and that little boy out there needs you to be a hero just a little longer.
For 20 tense minutes, Jennifer worked under the vet's voice. Fluids, stimulants, gentle traction. The Bobcat's pulse steadied.
Not out of the woods, but she's fighting. Now we wait.
30 miles north. The GPS track narrowed to a rocky outcrop. Then a deputy's shout cut through the trees. A small blue jacket snagged on a low branch, ripped and stained dark. The deputy pointed his flashlight at the fabric. Bryant pulled it free. The size matched a grade schooler. The stains were blood.
This is Lucas's jacket. His mother described it to us blue with a torn pocket.
The team fell silent. Blood meant injury, and 3 days in the cold was already a death sentence.
Dispatch. This is Bryant. We have evidence the boy was here. Get an ambulance on standby and send the coordinates to the shelter vet.
He clipped the jacket into an evidence bag, his face set with grim urgency. Back at the shelter, the sheriff's voice crackled over Jennifer's cell phone. She pressed it tighter, her heart pounding. The search party pushed on, following the GPS pulse to a massive hollow log. Inside lay a bed of crushed leaves, a crumpled granola wrapper, and a small footprint, but the nest was empty. Lucas had been there.
Jennifer, we found where he stayed. It's cold and empty. He's not here. We're expanding the perimeter now.
Number. He survived this long. He can't be far. Just don't give up.
Before the sheriff could answer, the Bobcat's body seized. A violent contraction racked her frame.
The fluids worked. She's pushing again. Stay focused, Jennifer. This is your fight now.
Jennifer dropped the phone and crouched, hands gentle but ready. The real battle had just begun. Fluids had revived her, but weakness still clung. Each push took all the Bobcat's remaining strength.
That's it, Mama. Harder now? We're so close.
Outside, the search pressed on. Inside, the fate of 3 kittens and 1 missing boy hung in the balance. A wet sack emerged. Jennifer guided it gently, and a tiny kitten slid into her palms, still and silent.
Breathe, baby. Come on, breathe.
Then a squeak. The kitten squirmed, and the Bobcat's tongue rasped it clean. A raw new life. A second contraction came fast. A smaller kitten slipped out, already crying for its mother.
2. There's still 1 more heartbeat. Where's the 3rd?
The Bobcat pushed, but nothing came. Her cries grew sharp with exhaustion and pain. In the forest, Bryant's radio crackled. A deputy held up a hand. They all froze, listening.
Everyone quiet. I heard something. There it is again.
A child's voice drifted from the stream, weak but unmistakable. They sprinted toward it. At the shelter, Jennifer's heart hammered. The 3rd kitten was stuck, and the Bobcat was fading fast. Beneath a fallen tree, Lucas huddled against the moss, his lips blue, his eyes barely open.
Lucas, can you hear me? We got you, son. You are safe now.
The boy's chapped lips moved, struggling to form words. A whisper escaped.
She kept me warm. The Bobcat, she saved me.
Bryant pressed the radio, his voice rough with emotion.
Jennifer, we found him. He's alive. Hypothermic, but breathing.
At the shelter, Jennifer's legs gave out. She sank to the floor, tears cutting through the grime.
She did it. She crawled through hell for that boy. Now it's my turn to fight for her.
But the bobcat's body was failing. The third kitten was lodged, and her pulse was fading fast.
Hold on, Mama. You didn't crawl 40 miles to give up now. We're getting that kitten out.
With one final, desperate pull, the third kitten slid free. Jennifer cradled its limp body, rubbing life into it.
Not yet. Not after all this.
The kitten gasped, mewed, weak but alive. All three now nestled against their mother, nursing. The bobcat collapsed, her breathing shallow, but her tongue reached out to groom them. Jennifer's phone buzzed. Sheriff Bryant's voice was thick with emotion.
Lucas is airlifted to County General. Hypothermic but stable, he asked about you, about the bobcat.
Behind her, the television flickered. Breaking news of the rescue, the bobcat's note.
That note tied to her tail. It broke this case wide open. You both saved that boy.
We didn't save him. She did. Now I have to save her.
She looked at the exhausted mother, her kits clinging to her, and knew the fight wasn't over. 3 days later, Lucas opened his eyes in the pediatric ICU. His first word was a question.
Where's the bobcat? Is she okay?
Jennifer was allowed in. She sat by his bed, the red string still faintly stained on her scrubs.
She's alive, Lucas. You gave her the strength to find help.
I got lost following a rabbit. She found me when I was crying. She let me hold her. I used my hoodie string to tie the note. I thought maybe someone would find her, and they'd find me.
Jennifer's throat tightened. The boy had made a lifeline out of desperation.
She kept me warm every night. I didn't want her to die for me.
A child and a wildcat protecting each other. That note was the bravest thing he'd ever written.
She squeezed his hand, and for a moment, the beeping monitors faded into a sacred silence. Within hours, the story went national. Donations overflowed for the shelter, for the Bennetts, even for wildlife rescue.
They called her rescue a publicity stunt. Said I stressed her worse than the wild. They weren't there. They didn't see her crawl in, bleeding. They didn't hold the note a child wrote.
She turned off the phone. The only opinion that mattered was the one in the recovery pen. Every day, the bobcat grew stronger. Her ribs stopped showing. Her eyes lost their dullness. Soon, she was moved to a large outdoor enclosure. Her kittens stayed close, nursing and playing. Lucas's call came on a Tuesday. His voice was no longer a whisper.
I need to see her. Please, I dream about her every night.
She might not remember you. She's a wild animal, not a pet.
She kept me warm. She's not just an animal. She's my hero.
2 weeks later, a wildlife officer arrived at the outdoor enclosure. The bobcat's leg wound had healed. Her weight was up. He examined her, checked the kittens, and nodded to Jennifer waiting nearby. Her official report was clear.
She's ready? Really ready?
The recommendation: release her and the cubs near the Pine Ridge acreage, 1/2 mile from the Bennett property.
A compromise between Wild and the boy who needs her. Maybe that's exactly where she belongs.
When Lucas got the news, his voice cracked through the phone.
She'll be near me. I promise I won't bother her. I just want to know she's okay.
She's not a pet, Lucas. You might never get close to her.
I know. I just want her free. But maybe one day, she'll remember me.
The release was set for dawn. As the sun rose, Jennifer watched the bobcat nurse her cubs one last time, inside the carrier. Jennifer carried the carrier to the edge of the forest, her footsteps soft on the pine needles. The sun was still low. Across the field, a woman stood with Lucas. He was leaning forward, his eyes fixed on the carrier, his hands clenched.
He made it. Now she has to make it, too.
She unlatched the door and stepped back. For a long moment, nothing moved. Then the bobcat's head appeared, ears swiveling. She sniffed the air, her amber eyes scanning the tree line. Then she turned and looked directly at Jennifer.
It's okay. Go on. You are free now.
The bobcat turned and led her cubs into the undergrowth, 3 small shapes wobbling after her, their spots vanishing into the green.
She remembered. I think she remembered.
Jennifer didn't move. She watched until the forest swallowed them completely, until the silence was filled only by birdsong.
40 miles in the rain, labor on my floor. Now she's home. She'll always be home.
A week passed. Lucas sat at the edge of his yard, pressing his grandfather's binoculars to his eyes.
Come on. Come on. Be out there.
Movement near the oaks. A tawny shape emerged, a silver fish dangling from her jaws.
She's there. She's really there. And she caught a fish.
He fumbled for his phone and dialed Jennifer's number, his voice shaking with joy.
Jennifer, I saw her. She had a fish. She looked strong. She's okay.
She's hunting. She's feeding her cubs. She's going to make it. That's the best news, Lucas. She's doing what she's supposed to. You watching from a distance?
Through the lens, the bobcat turned, her cubs tumbling from the brush to follow her. Jennifer closed her eyes and let the tears fall. The weight she'd carried since that rainy night finally lifted. The next Sunday, Lucas walked to the edge of the field, carrying a small bowl filled with fresh milk.
Just like she took care of me. This is my promise to her.
Jennifer came the following week, sitting beside him on the old fallen log.
You don't have to do this alone, Lucas.
The bobcat emerged from the trees, her cubs close behind. She paused, amber eyes on the bowl. She lapped the milk, her cubs joining, the morning mist swirling around them.
She remembers me. Not just the milk. She trusts me.
He's healing. We both are.
Every Sunday. No matter what. She came back for me. I'll come back for her.
And so the ritual held a bowl of milk, a boy's promise, and a wild mother who had taught the world the meaning of sacrifice. A month later, the shelter held a small ceremony. Jennifer stood on stage, plaque in hand, cameras flashing.
They're thanking me for courage. But the courage was hers. I just opened a door.
That evening, she drove to the tree line alone. The field was empty, the sky streaked with gold. She sat on the old log, and soon the bobcat emerged, her cubs, now almost full-grown, trailing behind. The bobcat didn't need feeding anymore. She simply lay a few yards away and closed her eyes at ease.
You don't need milk anymore. You just need to know I am here. And I am. I always will be.
She stayed until the sun dipped below the trees, until the bobcat rose and vanished into the darkening woods.
I saved her, and she saved a boy. We're even, but I'll keep coming back, just in case.
The forest swallowed her silhouette, but the bond remained. A thread of red string, a note of courage, a promise of milk. She glanced back once, and in the distance, 2 amber eyes blinked from the shadows before disappearing. Months later, on a crisp autumn Sunday, Lucas knelt in the familiar spot, the bowl of milk steaming in the cool air. The bobcat emerged from the trees, her cubs now strong and independent behind her. But today, she didn't stop at the bowl.
Something's different. She's not looking at the milk.
She stepped past the bowl, her amber eyes locked on Lucas's face. The boy held his breath. Then, with slow, deliberate trust, she lowered her head and pressed her nose into his open palm.
You? You remember.
Tears spilled down his cheeks. He didn't move, afraid to break the spell. Jennifer stood a few yards back, her hand pressed to her mouth, her own tears falling silently.
After all this time, she came to say thank you.
The bobcat lingered for a heartbeat longer, then pulled back, gave a soft chuff, and turned to her cubs. The trust was complete. The sound of boots on dry leaves made Lucas look up. Sheriff Bryant stood at the edge of the clearing, hands in his jacket pockets.
I heard about your Sundays. Came to see if the story was really true.
He knelt beside the boy, his eyes on the bobcat who watched him with steady amber eyes.
Looks like the legend's even better up close.
She's not a legend. She's my friend.
The cubs interrupted, tumbling over each other across the grass, and the mother bobcat gave a low rumble of contentment. From a few yards away, Jennifer pressed a hand to her chest, her eyes wet.
I am gonna be a park ranger someday. Protect animals like her.
That's the best idea I've heard in years.
Bryant stood, nodded to Jennifer, then walked back through the trees, leaving the Sunday ritual undisturbed. At the edge of the trees, the sheriff paused and turned, his silhouette framed by the last of the light.
Jennifer, that note tied to her tail changed everything. We're training rangers now to track animals with GPS chips.
So other kids won't have to be lost like me.
The bobcat gave a soft chuff, then led her cubs deeper into the forest, their tails swallowed by the green.
Thank you, Sheriff, for believing in a dying bobcat.
I just followed the evidence. She did the rest.
See you next Sunday, girl.
They walked together toward the road, the boy, the vet, the lawman, silhouettes against the fading day. The forest held its breath behind them, a silent witness to a promise sealed in red string and milk. Nothing more needed to be said. The world, for a moment, was right. A month later, Lucas walked the path alone. He was a little taller now, the carton of milk swinging at his side. The tree line was still, but he knew better. He sat cross-legged on the grass and poured the milk into the old bowl. Within moments, the undergrowth rustled. The bobcat emerged, her cubs now nearly her size. Their spots faded, but eyes still bright. She didn't hesitate. She lapped the milk while her offspring fanned out, keeping a respectful watch.
You don't need me anymore, but you still come. That's what makes it real.
The bobcat finished and lay down a few feet away, her chin resting on her paws, eyes closing contentedly. The cubs settled as well, and for a long while, only the birdsong and the breeze spoke.
This is forever, isn't it? Every Sunday. Every Sunday. Every season.
The bobcat opened one amber eye, as if in answer, then closed it again. Lucas stayed until the bowl was empty and the sun began to warm the meadow, then walked home, the bond unbroken. Summer gave way to another autumn. The tree line waited. At dusk, Lucas's silhouette appeared on the path, small against the glowing horizon. He didn't carry milk today. He simply sat on the old log and faced the trees. The bobcat emerged without a sound, her grown cubs moving like shadows behind her. She lay down at his feet, her eyes reflecting the dying sun. The cubs settled nearby. The empty bowl caught the last light, a tiny vessel that had carried a world of promise, everything that had passed between them. The rain, the blood, the note, the trust, lived in that simple silence. No force on earth could have broken that bond, least of all a piece of paper, a wet string, and the will of a dying mother. Sometimes, a note tied to a tale is the strongest thread of all, and the forest held its peace.